No one, no living creature should ever consume this plant, never under any circumstances. Indeed, the rumors are true. The hulu tree that grows by the banks of the Euphrates is cursed. And not just cursed by the Anzud bird, but also by a snake and a succubus that are completely immune to all of my spells and charms. No one, no element of the hulu tree is to be consumed in any form. Not its bark, its leaves, its roots, its seeds, or its flowers. We tried it every which way, and the result was the same every time. No matter if we made its leaves into a tincture or into a ceremonial powder, when it was ground into a powder, yes, the effects were the same. Namu, Namu, receive thy servant. Receive thy servant. Kalumtum is in the garden of the gods now, high above the cigarettes. Bad news for Kalumtum, good news for you. That means that we have an opening here in the potion processing center. Oh, there, it's okay. There. It's all written in the stars. We cannot escape our destiny. No. Do you know what Kalumtum means in our Sumerian language? Of course you do. Of course you do. It means little lamb. It was Kalumtum's destiny to make this discovery, to confirm that the hulu tree is cursed, to make sure that no one would ever eat from this tree ever again. You see, this is one of the perks of being a potion processor. It's a very high honor being a potion processor, among many other perks. 3 main perks in particular. Oh, relax, child. Relax. Calm down. Everything is going to be linear, eh? Okay. Let me see your hand. Yes, you have been chosen. It is clear. You have the mark of someone with a destiny. See, this is a sign that you have a magnificent mission to fulfill. When you are trying to create a civilization as great as ours, everyone has a part to play. All must be willing to make sacrifices in the name of prosperity, progress, and posterity. Alright? You understand? If not here, then here. As I was saying, there are 3 primary perks of being a potion processor. The supreme perk is making a difference, a contribution, changing the world, saving lives, and even ridding the world of evil. The gallows have set many traps for us, you know. Not all of these leaves, seeds, roots, and berries taste like the poisons that they are. No, not all poisons taste like rotten cheese, boiled in swamp water, with lots of crocodile dung in it. In fact, so many of the poisonous plants are very aromatic and delectable. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Some of them make you feel good, very good. Sure, there's that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a level up, feeling good. Like how the water of life makes you feel. You know that feeling? Multiply that by 1,000. What's multiply? What's 1,000? Let's just say it makes you feel like you've died and gone flying in the sky with Enlil, Enheduanna, Enki, and all the rest of the deities. Like you are high in the sky, higher than these eyes can see, beyond the clouds. I'm not making this up. If you should be so lucky, you'll last long enough to discover and experience one of the magical, magnificently mind-bending plants. Have I ever tasted one? Why do you think I'm still doing this job? Despite all of its pressures and stresses. In my tablet, this perk goes well beyond helping people. But don't tell the Lugal I said that. Okay? Don't tell the Lugal. What's the third perk? As if you need a third perk of being a potion processor after what I just shared with you. In confidence, remember. Oh, you need a third perk because of Kolubto. With the goddess receive your soul. A third perk. Imagine, if you will, that you discover one of these mystical, magical, magnificently mind-bending plants. Like I mentioned. Imagine. Are you imagining? Perfect. Tamam. Make sure you're imagining that it's something really magical that knocks people's sandals off. You got that? Yeah. You got that scenario running in your mind? Well, what do you think happens for you, if you make this momentous discovery? Yes. The people are happy and healthy, of course. Anything else happen for you if you make a momentous discovery? Well, what happens is poof, instant immortality, fame for you. That is, if you slap your name on your discovery faster than you can draw 2 standing sticks and put a line through them. So then, every time people have a party, a good time, travel to the Garden of the Gods without leaving their mat, or get some relief from a headache without having their skull drilled open, they speak your name. Yes, they speak your name. They raise their glass to you and say, cheers to... What's your name again? Right. Cheers to the mama. Cheers to the mama. So, the third perk of being a potion processor is that you get immortality. As long as this potion persists, your name is spoken again and again and again, making sure you live on in the afterlife. I'll let that one sink in for a drumbeat. I know, right? It seems like a very cheap trick for obtaining immortality, doesn't it? Oh, but you'd only get a stab at immortality after I am gone. Of course, because as long as I am potion processor in chief, prime potioner, and elixir mixer extraordinaire, as long as I am still here, everything you discover gets attributed to me. I am the one who gets any control over concocting and therefore gets any credit. until your time comes. That's, of course, if you outlive me. So don't be getting any devious, dark ideas. So far, your predecessors haven't been so lucky. If the goddesses will it, you will discover the next water of life, the next water of the Zagros Mountains. And you will live on forever and ever through your descendants, through their mouths, when they speak your name. You have some trepidation because of what happened to Kulumtum. Well, Gilgamesh never said the path to immortality would be easy. Now did he? So what's it going to be? I mean, you are welcome to go back to being a temple servant, a field hand, or try your hand at stone cutting or brick making if the excitement of all of this is too much for you. But there ain't much of a chance of getting immortality in any of that. But in any case, you need to make your decision quickly, because I've got a lot of work to do. No, hold on a minute. I appreciate your enthusiasm, the zeal of the novice you are bringing to your first day on the job. But it's not as simple as that. You don't just start willy-nilly tasting stuff. I've got a very meticulous system in place. You disrupted my system. It's a very systematic system. We've got to have some way of keeping things straight. It's a bit overwhelming, you see. It's not so straightforward as taking a bite from this leaf, waiting a bit, and then munching on a little of that. No, it's not just like smoking some of this and then pulverizing some of that and brewing it into a tea. Oh no. This is an art and a science, and it requires the right spirit and the right head. Not only do we have to taste each and every one of these plants, and as you can see, this is a lot of plants. There may very well be 1,000 plants in the storehouse. And so far, I've counted over 13,000 plants in the kingdom. How much is 13,000? You know how many people are in this city? Well, it's almost as many as that. I'll let that sink in for a drum beat. Why, there's all the things that come from the ground, like barley, millet, and wheat, emmer, beans, peas, lentils, cucumbers, leeks, lettuce, and garlic. And then all the fruits of the trees, grapes and apples, dates, almonds, olives, pomegranates, not to mention all the flowers. And all of these plants have roots and stems and leaves and seeds and berries. And then there are all the different parts of the fruit. And we have to test each of these by themselves, isolate them, and study their effects. And then there are all the combinations. The stem of this plant with the roots of this one, and the leaves of this plant with the flowers of that. And their effects seem to change depending on their form. They act one way when we eat them raw and uncooked, and another way when we grind them into a powder and brew them into a tea. And then another way if we make them into a lotion and apply it to the skin like a salve. And then we have to think about proportions. What happens if we don't just add a little bit of heliotrope to these grapes? And wow, poof, wash, what happens if we add just a pinch of poppy seeds to this tincture? It's amazing. And we always have to keep one eye on the stars, because if we drink this tea under a full moon, its potency is off the charts. But if we consume it during an eclipse, nothing whatsoever happens. On an empty stomach, with desire in your heart or in your loins, the effects are totally different. And all of that has to be documented, charted, written down. For Inanna's sake, we don't want to keep mixing and testing the same things over and over. So we have to have a system for remembering what we already tested and what worked and what didn't work, like the hulu tree. Is any of this making sense? Well, to be honest, it doesn't need to make sense to you. Because for now, you are just a lowly potion taster. Your job is simply to ingest imbibe, consume, and then report back to me. They've chosen you, or so I'm told. And so it says here, because you have a very magical way of describing things, a gift for words. Your language is very precise. You won't just tell me, I feel weird. You'll tell me exactly how you feel weird. Like, my vision is blurry, lights are flashing, the sky is getting too close. I can see the gallows dancing, something like that. Or maybe I feel like I'm in Urkala, and now I feel like I'm in Gansier, or I feel like I'm in a dream. Or maybe you will say my left arm is numb, or Lamashto is shattering in my ear. Zuzu is snarling at me. The gallows, the demons are dragging me into the underworld. The Giddam, the dead, are crying out to me for a drink of water. And things like that. Right? That should not be a challenge for you according to your recommendation. Anyhow, and all the permutations, roots with leaves and fruits with flowers, and weights and measure stuff, it can be so overwhelming. As you can see, we have a lot of work to do. A lot. Somewhere in here is the next life water, the next powder of youth, or fertility tea. So we best get to it. Let's see, where did the last tester drop it? I mean, leave off. Okay, willows, check. Tamarisks, check. Poplars, check. Licorice, check. Bulrush, check. Ah, yes, how could I forget? Blue water lilies, blue water lilies. This one's getting a little stale. It's been a while. Perhaps I should remix it. I should tell you that your predecessor and I were experimenting. We were in the throes of some very fascinating discoveries. We were probing the magical depths of this mysterious plant, the blue water lily. So far, we know that the leaves of the flower, when eaten in raw form, make any snakes that you have here your tummy, slither away. When her barb is boiled for half a day and then drunk as a tea, any thunderclouds here in your mind start to lift, and you feel like the elegant crested mama bird, and the petals I'm tempted to have you pick up where Kalumtum left off and have you smoke the petals. I don't think that's the best place to start, for various reasons, as tempting as it is. What we don't know is what this plant is for. Why this plant was gifted to us. I have some ideas. Pain management, maybe a party favor, a palliative. Yes, I'm almost certain of these properties. Yet it feels like there is some hidden aspect of this plant. Something more sublime. Like maybe if it's a flame that illuminates a secret path. And I know that Galu sent you to help me find it. To progress, prosperity and immortality, may the blessings of Gula be upon you. Go on, drink. Drink. That's a good servant of Inanna. Isten, Sina, Salas, Arbe, Humis, Sedis, Sebe, Semane, Tise, Eser. The mama, there you are. Stay with me for a drum beat. How are you feeling on the scale of Isten to Eser? How different do you feel right now compared with how you felt before drinking the tonic? Isten being basically the same and Eser being completely different. I see. And would you like more of the tonic right now on the same scale? And how likely would you be to recommend the tonic to a friend or loved one, not an enemy? Okay, and how would you describe how you are feeling right now? Let me just make sure I got this. You said you are feeling very powerful, almost invincible. You said you feel relaxed yet energized, and your fears about your predecessor have faded out. I see. I see. What's that? Ah, everything looks and feels. Everything looks and feels harmonious. I understand and receive your gratitude. It's okay, I'm your boss. You don't need to hug me. But I do need to have a look in your eyes. Yeah, they are much larger than before. The portals have opened. I think we may have a very magical plant on our hands. Just to be sure, we best do some more testing. What would you say? I think it's best that we just keep, I think it's best that we just keep this little beauty a secret. Just a little longer. Until we can be sure of all of its effects. You know, for health and safety reasons, right? For now, if any of the priests or big men asks about the status of our research on the blue water lily, you tell them that so far it seems to be good for settling a turbulent tummy. Better yet, tell them we're still working on the leaves of the date palm. Tell them that. I have to say, not bad for your first day. And already I feel a little bit harmonious and happy myself. Well, we have a lot more testing to do tomorrow. So you best get some rest. And remember, blue water lily is our little secret. She may be our ticket to immortality.